Alexander Usyk as he was referring to the heavyweight division, how long he's going to fight in the division, and he specifically named one of the best prospects at heavyweight right now in the world, Moses Itauma, and he said, I won't fight him. I'm not going to fight Moses Itauma. Not now. I'm not going to fight him ever.
Do you want to see Mosey with Alexander Usyk next, or too soon?
No, calm down. Let's get him in with Hrgovic, Caballel, those kind of guys, Bacoli, Jarrell Miller. Get the rounds, but he's a brilliant talent.
Alexander Usyk rules out a fight with Moses Itauma, pointing to the age difference and suggesting the young heavyweight should pursue other challenges. He also hints that he plans to keep fighting a few more years before eventually focusing on coaching and developing future fighters. Alexander Usyk said, "No, I won't fight Itauma. He's young, always teasing me, and he said himself he doesn't hit grandpas. I'll fight until I'm 41. Then I'll build a sports academy. I'll train there and train others." Earlier, Moses Itauma also questioned the same thing, that why Alexander Usyk would take a fight with him, suggesting it may not make much sense from Usyk's perspective. Still, he makes it clear he would accept the opportunity without hesitation if the fight were offered.
Why would Usyk take that fight? That's obviously my first thought. But, I mean, if the fight was to present itself, and they was like, right, you're fighting Usyk in May, I'm like, yeah, I'm taking it 100%. There's no loss in that. Do you get what I mean? I would take that fight 100%. But I just think, like, why would Usyk do that? Why would he? I mean, the money, he's made plenty of money.
What happens if you and Alexander Usyk sharing in December? So,
what do you think?
I'm asking you.
No. I know my answer, but what do you think?
I think it's a hell of a fight.
You gone commercial, you gone generic.
Wade Plemon reacts to Alexander Usyk declining a fight with Moses Itauma, saying Usyk has worked his way up through cruiserweight and heavyweight, earning every opportunity along the way. He argues that at this stage, Moses hasn't yet faced a top 10 opponent or done enough to deserve the matchup, noting that fights like Joseph Parker's would make more sense for Usyk right now.
What is that? For a guy in Alexander Usyk that has fought tooth and nail to get to heavyweight, had to fight his way through cruiserweight, had to fight his way into opportunities at the heavyweight division, and then won those fights, gave the rematches, won those fights. And yes, before we even get into what I know this comment section is going to be, what did Moses Itauma do to deserve an Alexander Usyk fight? I'm not saying right now. Right now, it should be Joseph Parker. Whatever injury, back injury that Alexander Usyk's dealing with right now, hopefully he gets healthy. We have Parker Wardley coming up, and, that fight's a banger, but it should have been Joseph Parker even before the Dubois rematch. I'll be honest. That should have been Joseph Parker right then, right there. And yes, there's Caballel out there as well. But what we're seeing Alexander Usyk do, and I never thought I'd see him do this, is essentially rule out one fighter in the heavyweight division that he will not fight. Notice, again, I'm not talking about right now, because no, Moses Itauma should not be fighting Alexander Usyk right now. He has not earned that right. And again, he's not even fought a top 10 guy. There's things that Moses needs to do.
Wade Plemon says it baffles him why Usyk wouldn't take on Moses Itauma, noting that Moses is already extremely close to world title contention. He points out that whether for the IBF or WBA belt, Moses is just a fight or two away from a championship, and in a couple of years, Plemon believes he could be a worthy opponent for Usyk.
Racks my brain to think why he wouldn't, if he's going to be in the sport for a couple more years, why he wouldn't take on what, in my opinion, will be the most challenging fighter at that time. It'll be Moses Itauma. I know that Moses skipped out on the IBF title eliminator. I get that, but I also saw that he was potentially going to step up for the WBA regular belt, which is an easier fight. I get that, but the point being, that's how close Moses Itauma is already right now to potentially being a world title contender. Whether it's for the IBF, whether it's for the WBA, he's a couple of fights away from fighting for a belt, maybe one fight away from fighting for a belt. And you're telling me he's not going to be at Usyk's level as far as worthy of a world championship in those 2 years? That's bullshit. I don't believe that. At the least bit, I don't believe it.
Wade Plemon argues that while Usyk can choose his opponents, it's puzzling that he rules out the one fighter Plemon believes could realistically challenge him for the belts. He doesn't see any other real threat for him and thinks Moses Itauma is the next contender who could make a serious run, making him the matchup Plemon most wants to see.
And for people that are going to come out and be like, well, Usyk can do what he wants, he's earned that right. Sure, he can do what he wants, but when you say that, and then you exclusively say you're not going to fight the one guy that I believe in the heavyweight division can actually challenge Usyk for his belts, I'll be honest, I'm at that point now where I don't know. I don't think Joseph Parker is going to challenge Usyk for those belts. I don't think Kabiel is going to get those belts off him. There's one guy that I think realistically in the next year and a half to 2 years can get those belts off Usyk, and I think it's Moses Itauma. That's what I want to see. I want to see the next big thing coming up.
Moses Itauma also believes his skill set matches the best in the world, but admits he still needs experience in the later rounds. He explains that building that kind of fight experience is the main goal right now, acknowledging that seasoned opponents like Alexander Usyk could hold an advantage in deep rounds until he proves himself there.
You must have a view of what level you're at now.
If you want my honest opinion, I think
I do.
If my skill set, if you're talking about my ring IQ and what I display in the ring, I feel like I am the best in the world, but I haven't displayed the later rounds. That's all what I kind of want to get ticked off. So my next opponent or opponents this year, we're just looking at fights to kind of get me into that later round, because I feel like with Usyk, I feel like I've got a better skill set than him, but I feel like towards the later rounds, he'll just outdo me because I've never been in that sort of fight.
Lennox Lewis also advises Moses Itauma to avoid a fight with Alexander Usyk for now, saying it's far too early in his career. He stresses that Itauma should keep learning and developing, suggesting the smarter move would be to wait for the right moment rather than rushing into such a major challenge.
Way too soon, it's better to wait. Wait until, he retires. I mean, he's not going to stay around too long. I'm talking Alexander Usyk. And then take your shot. I mean, there's no use doing it right now. Right now, you're learning everything. And you have to wait till the right time. You can never be rushed. If you're rushed, you're going to do a bad result for your career. So it's better to take your time and take it when it's there, when it's ready, when you're ready.
Tyson Fury backs Moses Itauma to defeat Alexander Usyk, insisting that youth will dominate experience. Fury argues that boxing is a young man's sport, and that Moses' youth and talent give him a clear advantage over the older generation of champions.
I keep getting asked about young Moses Itauma fighting Alexander Usyk and fighting other big names. And my opinion is not someone who don't know boxing. My opinion is someone who has been there and won every single belt, won everything there is to win in boxing, and done very well. Boxing is a young man's game. Like I told Vladimir Klitschko when he was 37, boxing's a young man's game and he waits for nobody. So here's the opinion, you've heard it here first. Moses Itauma will wreck all them old men out of the division. Usyk, AJ, Miller, whoever there is who's old, Zhang, whoever else there is, Luis Ortiz, all these big names of the past are all a spent force. And even the world champion now, if they took my belts and give them to Usyk, Moses will wreck him. Because he's a young man versus an old man. An old man can't mess with young men.
David Haye reacts to Tyson Fury backing Moses Itauma to beat Usyk, pointing out that while Fury knows both fighters well, claiming Moses would wreck Usyk could unintentionally diminish Fury's own achievements. Haye says Moses is talented and has potential, but he still needs time to prove himself in the ring.
Tyson Fury sparred enough rounds with Itauma to know what type of force he is, and he's tasted Usyk's power. He's got 24 rounds of action, so he knows both of them very well, and you got to take it seriously. If he says that, fair enough. All he's doing is diminishing, his value. Is he lost to Usyk, and if he says Moses is better than and is going to wreck Usyk, does that mean that Moses is better than him? Is that what he's saying? Because that's kind of what he's saying. And for him to say that, there's no reason for him to say he's getting no benefit or credit by saying that. If anything, he's diminishing his own attributes. So it's I get it. If I'd have mixed it in the ring with him and he had the power and everything that he showed us so far, those little highlights of him, You know, if you think he's the man, and he's just got time to prove it.
On the contrary, Jarek Chisora advises Moses Itauma against taking on Alexander Usyk, describing him as a formidable and next-level opponent, and warning that the fight would come too soon.
Alexander Usyk, or is that too soon?
To leave Usyk alone. Usyk's a beast, man. Different beast. Different beast.
Spencer Brown comments on Usyk versus Itauma, highlighting Fury's praise of Moses as the future of the heavyweight division and a genuine champion in the making. He notes that while there are bigger challenges ahead, a fight with someone like Hugo Itch would be an exciting and major matchup. He also emphasizes that at this stage, moving too quickly could be a mistake given the young fighter's team and development.
I've seen him spar Tyson numerous occasions and other people. Tyson said to me he's the future of the heavyweight division. We are now looking at a genuine champion who's going to hold this title for a number of years, for a long time. But there's another jump up after this, and that's not going to be easy. Your Ajit Caballeros, your Joe Parkers, your Jarrell Millers. Who knows? Miller could be a name next for him. I don't know. I think the fight is Hrgovic. I think I'd like to see him fight Hrgovic. I think that's an unbelievable fight. I think you can make that happen. I think Turki Al-Sheikh can make that happen. I think it's a great fight and a big fight. Usyk's a different animal. You know, you're talking about, is that too quick? Oh yes, too quick for me. You know, I'm not his manager, I'm not his promotional team. He's got a great team round him, by the way. And at this stage of the game, Usyk would be a mistake.
Meanwhile, Spencer Oliver warns that a fight with Alexander Usyk right now could seriously derail Moses Itauma's career. He believes the timing is wrong, arguing that while Usyk is near the end of his run, Itauma is still a young prospect with the potential to dominate the heavyweight division for years to come, making such a matchup too risky at this stage.
Where are you? Do you see that fight ever happening? Because I think that's one of the fights that Alexander Usyk shouldn't take. Moses Itauma, but I also don't think it's right for Moses at this moment in time.
Well, listen, let's start off with Alexander Usyk is a fight where you get to a stage where you're in the twilight of your career, and he's probably going to have one more fight if he has one more fight, and that's possibly this man here. But you go like at some point,
which by the way he's earned.
Yeah, absolutely, 100%. But at this, you know, when you got the young kids coming through, it would be a disaster for Moses Itauma to take a fight against Alexander Usyk now, because you've got a kid that's going to potentially be, you know, the next dominant force of heavyweight boxing.
Lawrence Oakley praises Moses Itauma's talent, saying the hype around him is genuine and backed by real boxing ability. He notes that Itauma has shown strong skills and the right mindset at such a young age, adding that he's someone worth supporting as his career continues to develop.
But then maybe the next 10 years.
Let me ask you two boys about Moses. I mean, obviously, he's a competitor, he's a rival. He's the young one that's getting a lot of attention and blasting people out. You've just landed in the heavyweights, Lawrence. When you think of Moses Itauma, what do you think of?
I think of pretty much what everyone else is saying. Obviously, I've sparred him, I've seen him, and it's not fake. Like, it hasn't come from out of thin air. The guy's actually really good at boxing, I'll be honest with you.
Yep.
So we have to obviously wait and see how he does the rounds, see how it is under pressure of fight nights. But ultimately, from everything that I know of him, he's got a good mindset, and he is someone that if I was just looking at as a fan, I would get behind at this early stage, because to be 20 and doing the stuff that he's doing, like,
However, Tony Bellew warns against rushing Moses Itauma into a fight with Alexander Usyk, saying it would be the wrong move at this stage. He stresses that the young heavyweight should be allowed to develop, gain experience, and progress step by step, like every other fighter.
I think that's a dreadful fight for Moses Itauma. I just think to throw this kid into the wolves at this stage so early in his career, I just don't get what for. He's a young man, let him develop the same as every other fighter, let him learn his trade.
Andy Lee believes Moses Itauma could be competitive with Alexander Usyk because of his youth, speed, and size. However, he also notes that Itauma may be better suited facing top contenders first, before stepping into a fight of that magnitude.
Yeah, I don't know about that. Could he be competitive with him? Yeah, sure, he could be. Definitely could be. Because of his youth and his size and his speed. But you know, he'd be ready for the top contenders, definitely. They're ready for the top contenders. Like Parker's in line, quite frustrated, waiting for Usyk. There's been some talk of Joe and Moses possibly fighting. That would be a good fight for both of them, a risky fight for both guys. So we'll see. We'll see what happens.
Well questions the logic of Usyk taking a fight with Moses Itauma, pointing out that it would be a high-risk, low-reward matchup at this stage of Usyk's career. He notes that while Itauma lacks experience in longer fights, his speed, timing, movement, and natural talent could trouble any heavyweight in the division, making him a dangerous stylistic challenge despite his youth.
I don't really want him to continue, but obviously we've got Josie Parker against Fabio. Now, right now, for me, Parker deserves a crack at Usyk. But if Fabio was to beat him, then he leapfrogs the queue, and you got to say, okay, well, maybe Fabio then. But listen, there's other deservers like Caballel. He deserves a shot. But it's about what makes financial sense. And Usyk at this stage, he doesn't need to take a high risk, low reward kind of fight. You know, I don't see why. You know, if I'm him at his stage of his career, why don't I take on a young buck? You know, why? So you don't know what people say to the media and in public to what they're actually feeling and thinking. When you know when you're getting close to the exit door, can be two completely different things.
Who gives him the hardest fight, Usyk, now of the heavyweights left?
Style-wise, Moses. And I know, listen, I'm not saying Moses beats him. Inexperience and not being, you know, lack of rounds, but I'm talking about the style of Moses, the triggers, the speed of foot, good judgment of range. I just think right now, I think talent-wise, he's right up there. For me, talent-wise, he would give every heavyweight in that division problems. I'm not saying he beats every heavyweight in there, but his style, his capabilities, gives every single one of them a problem. And if you're coaching any single one of them, you have to explain to your man, no matter how experienced he is, no matter how up the rankings he is, take this kid seriously, because he might be a novice and it might sound a joke that this guy who's not been beyond 6 rounds maybe is somebody that could threaten you, who's been, you know, a kingpin in the division, but he's for real. So, you know, I would say his style, he's the one.
Meanwhile, Peter Fury praises Moses Itauma's talent, noting his speed, power, toughness, and determination. He acknowledges that Itauma hasn't been fully tested yet, but sees a big future ahead if he continues developing and proves himself against adversity in tougher fights.
Listen, they know the team. He is. I've seen him up close, Moses Itauma. I think he's a fabulous young talent. He's got speed, he's got power. He's tough, he's game, he ticks all the boxes so far. So let's see. Again, he's young. You know, he's not really been tested because what he's doing to these opponents. So let's see, it's early days, but big future for him. If he continues on the road he's doing, look, they know he looks ready for anybody.
Yeah, and like I said, Huey went through it, like I talked about the adversity and the cut and the pull of the fight. You need to know what a young fighter has, he got it in him to go through that adversity and still get through the fight. And do you think that's what we need to see from Itauma first?
That's what I'd like to see.
Moses Itauma is already turning heads with his skill, speed, and power, showing signs of a future star in the heavyweight division. Experts agree that while his talent is undeniable, he still needs time to gain experience and develop fully before taking on the biggest challenges. Rushing him now could be risky, but with the right growth and guidance, he has the potential to dominate in the years ahead. Follow his journey closely. Subscribe now to stay updated on every step of his rise.